Now this is the best makeup I've tried this year so far. What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Can you believe we are halfway through 2023 already? And that means that it's time for our mid-year check-in. I'm going to be running through all of the best makeup that I have tried this year so far. You guys know I always do my end of the year roundups as well. These are going to be all the products that have gotten me super duper excited. All of my top favorites that I'm gonna be sharing with you guys in every single category. So if you wanna hear the best makeup that I have tried this year so far, then keep watching. All right, party people, let's get into it. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. As always, I will link all these products in the description box down below. If you like this video and you wanna support my channel, shopping through my links is a great way to do so. And I will let you guys know, I do have a lot of dedicated reviews of all the products I'm gonna be talking about in this video. So if you wanna see some more detailed swatches, applications, comparisons, things like that, head on over to my channel page because I probably already have a full review of that product. Another quick caveat that I want to tell you guys is that I focused this video on new makeup that was released this year because of course I'm trying makeup all the time, things that you all recommend, things that have been around for a long time but I haven't tried. But for this video, I'm talking about the new. What's the best makeup of 2023, things that were released this year. And I tried not to include too many things where it's like the same product, but maybe a new shade, that kind of stuff. So we gotta narrow things down. And if I didn't mention it in this video, it doesn't mean that I don't like that product. It just means maybe it didn't make the cut, because otherwise, what's the point of doing a best of the best type of video? So those are the caveats, friends. And before we get started, one last thing. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Sophia and I am a complete luxury beauty makeup addict. I upload videos every single week. I do focus a little bit more on like Sephora brands, premium, higher end brands. So that's going to be reflected in the choices of this video. So hit that subscribe button if you want to join our fam, because we would love to have you. And without further ado, that's enough of my spiel. Let's get into the best makeup of 2023 so far. Starting off with foundation and concealer. I tried quite a few foundations and concealers this year, but not necessarily new ones. I tried a lot of Chanel foundations, actually. The only foundation that I really like, which you guys are probably tired of me talking about recently, it just squeaked under, okay, because I just tried this in the month of June. It is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Tint Foundation. That's what this is called. You guys know I like this. This is my new go-to summertime staple. This is what I'm wearing on my face today. I like that this is hydrating. It keeps my skin nice and moisturized. I do have dry skin, but it has a really nice, smooth gel-like texture that doesn't get too sticky and gross throughout the summer. I like skin tints that, you know, have light coverage, but I prefer them to have a little more coverage most of the time on a regular day. So I like the fact that this is kind of a good medium between maybe like medium coverage and super light, barely noticeable, maybe like a Chanel Water Fresh tint, which I love as well. But there's a time and place for everything. This is a little bit more everyday for me. I like the fact that I can build it up, and I also like the fact that it stays nice and refreshed on my skin all day. I wear shade number 2. I will link down below, by the way, the shades that I wear, just in case we're shade twins or you're wondering what color I'm showing you. This is a really great skin tint. It's really the only new base product that I've tried this year that I'm actually really excited about. A lot of other foundations, they tend to dry out my skin over time. This one does not. I think it is top notch. For concealers, it's a very similar story. I did try some, but I didn't try a lot of new ones that I was completely over the moon about, but there is one that I have tried recently that I absolutely love. Believe it or not, it is the new Armani Power Fabric Matte Concealer. I was very concerned about this because what this is a reformulation of the original Armani Power Fabric Concealer, which I absolutely love. And I was mad. I was mad that they reformulated it. I don't think that they needed to, but I do think that the new version is very good. I mentioned in my previous videos This one, I think once you get it on the eyes, it honestly looks very similar. It does say that it's a matte formula. The biggest differences that I see here is that it is a little bit thicker, so you don't need to use as much product. You don't need to layer it on as much. It's extremely brightening. It's extremely perfecting. It's what I have on my under eyes today. This is a great like lock and load type of concealer without being too heavy, because I don't want something that's super heavy that's gonna like settle into my fine lines. Like I said, I have dry skin. I don't want it drying out. The only thing that I would warn against this is that I don't think I would put this necessarily on blemishes because it is so brightening. Kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer, which I also like. This is kind of similar to that, where you get so much brightening. I don't know if I would put it on top of a little blemish. I have other concealers that I can use for that. I did really like the new Givenchy Prism Libre concealer. That one is a little bit lighter, more serum-like, more of like a hydrating formula, but this is just, I like this better. This is just so satisfying and perfecting. I have pretty deep dark circles, and this really just nukes them, and that's why I love it. Bronzers, one of my favorite categories, and I did try quite a few bronzers in the first half of the year. I did like a lot of them. I even did a ranking video for you all, and the two that I chose for this best of video are number one, we're not surprised, the new NARS Laguna Talc-Free bronzers. These are so good. I wasn't even gonna give these a try, but somebody told me they were good, so then I picked them up and I never looked back. I really like the shade range of these. I use Laguna 00, so if you're someone who's fair like me and you're looking for something that's a little bit more natural, not too like golden and orange, for example, then this is a really great option. I can also use Laguna 1 if I wanna look a little bit more toasted, but I like that they have a decent array of shades because it just makes the line a little bit more accessible. It is talc-free for those consumers out there who are, you know, you're worried about talc, you have concerns about talc, but you know what? Even though it doesn't have the talc, it's still good, so we can all enjoy it. The formula is very smooth and finely milled. It goes onto the skin like butter. It is finely milled, but it's not too difficult to blend, especially if you are blending it on top of a skin tint like I did today. Sometimes if you have a little bit more of like a moisturizing base, these types of finely milled products, they can be a little bit hard to work on top of the skin and get them to look even, but I never have an issue with these. I think they are great. In fact, if you watch the ranking video, these are the bronzers that I put at the top of the list for all of the reasons that I just mentioned. I think that the shade range is good. They're talc-free. You got a great formula. I just think that these are top-notch bronzers. I do a lot of comparisons in that video as well. There's other bronzers that I like, okay? But these, in terms of the ones that were launched this year, they are fantastic. I also really like the Pat McGrath bronzers. These are, I think, just as good. It really just depends on what shade you prefer. These are demi matte as well, so they have a little bit more of, I don't want to say like shimmeriness, they're not shimmery, but they have a little bit more of like that airbrushed look to the skin. If you like a little bit more blurring to your face, these are going to be good. The one that I have here is called Naked Desire. This is the lightest shade. I thought this was going to be way too light for me, but I actually love it. It's very, very natural. It's probably the most natural bronzer that I have in my makeup drawer, and I love it for every day. It also is one of the ones in the range that is a little bit more cool tone. That's kind of the only downside of this range, is that I'd like to see more undertones from Pat McGrath, because a lot of the ones in the range are very warm. But that being said, I like both of the shades that I got, Naked Desire and Nude Honey. I think they're great. I even got this one for my mom because she liked it so much, so she uses these as well. They are just amazing bronzers. Pat McGrath, why did it take you so long to launch these? I have a lot of blush favorites for this video. I tried so many blushes. This was the year of the blush, so naturally I have to give a little bit more attention to this category. And my first favorite, which I know not everybody liked, but I liked, are the Chanel Face and Eye palettes. I have 10 Dress right here, and then I have the deeper one, Character A, right here. I love the silky formula of these. I love the fact that you can get good pigmentation, but they're still very soft, kind of what we would expect from a Chanel formula. These are just fun for me to use. I like to take these with me when I travel, when I'm getting ready for work and I need just a very quick and wearable look. Tendresse is definitely the one that I wear more often. I have these blushes on my cheeks today just because it's lighter, it's more natural, but I think that come fall, winter, I'm gonna be using the Character one a little bit more. I know a lot of folks were kind of scared of these because they do have quite a few, you know, kind of like plummy and red colors, but I like plum blush. So for me, they're fantastic. I also like the fact that they really kind of went for it with the darker one. I feel like those of you out there who have deeper skin tones, you're really going to enjoy the bright gold, the deeper colors that are in this palette. I really hope that Chanel does more stuff like this. I know it's not the most unique thing in the world, but it's fun. I like these types of fun palettes. I think it would be cool if they could do almost like what Hourglass does, where you get a little bit of like a bronzer, a highlighter, maybe a finishing powder. I love to see that from Chanel, maybe in like a summer travel collection. Here I am coming up with new concepts, but that's what I would like to see, and that's kind of how I feel about these. Even more so of a favorite, how could I not talk about the Chanel LeBlanc collection? This is that pastel fuchsia blush that they launched this year. This is fun, okay? This color, the pinks, the Barbie looks, this is what's in this year. This is giving me life. I thought it was so fun, so fresh, so spring, and very Chanel, very youthful. Reminds me of like one of the Chanel Chance perfume commercials. I'm also gonna lump in here, even though we're not in the eyeshadow category right now, but just for good measure, I do wanna call out the Délice eyeshadow quad. Love this. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes that was launched this year. It's probably this and the holiday palette that they launched this past Christmas. I think those are my two favorite Chanel eye quads. This whole collection was a slam dunk. I don't want to talk about it too much because I know you can't get it anymore. I was very excited that I was able to get my mom both of these items right before they both sold out, but I do need to give them a shout out in this video. I have two ultra pigmented blush favorites that I want to share. One is in a powder formula and one is in a cream formula. The powder formula is the new House Labs blushes, and then the cream formula is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Flush blushes. These are kind of my go-tos if I want, well, like I said, more pigmented cheeks, if I want something a little bit more vibrant, if I'm like, you know, I really want my cheeks and my blush to be the standout focus of the look that I'm creating, maybe do a more neutral eye. These are the products that I like to reach for. I want to get more of these because I think that these are a very good value, especially compared to a lot of the other luxury blushes that have been launched, you know, just on the market over the past couple of months. I love how punchy and fun these are. I like that they really went for it with the colors. They're so summery. They're very long lasting. I did include both of these blushes in my cream and powder blush ranking videos. So if you want to kind of hear a little bit more about them, you can check that out. On the Danessa Myricks side, these are my favorite pigmented cream blushes. These really pack a punch. And like I've said in other reviews, I like that they go on as a cream, but they look a little bit more matte. They're a little more lock and load. So I think they're great for summer. If you're a little bit sweatier, it's a little more humid outside, I think that these are the perfect option. And I've also said before, I love the shade range. The colors are so fun. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Both of these are really good. These are my two pigmented blush faves. My favorite liquid blush release of this year are the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Beauty Blush Wands. I know that these are pretty pricey, but they're good. I love them. I love all of the shades. I think that I probably use the Pillow Talk one the most just because it's nude, but my favorite one is the Dream Pop, which is this beautiful magenta. Don't be scared if you have pale skin. You can sheer this out and it looks so beautiful and romantic. Contrary to the name, these are actually not matte. They give a really plump, hydrated look to the cheek and they last all day. They are so, so good. So if you want to invest in one, I do feel comfortable recommending these because I really do like them. I know there's a lot of other liquid blushes on the market, but these are my favorite. I really hope that Charlotte Tilbury comes out with more shades, maybe, you know, like some more interesting shades, but I understand why she came out with the more wearable ones that she has for this first lineup. And then I also want to mention, lastly, my favorite dewy cream blush favorite, and that is the new Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veil. I always forget the full name because it is a little bit of a mouthful. I have the shade Rose Crush. I wasn't even gonna give these a try, but a lot of you were so interested, so I did, and I love them. These are great if you want that summertime dew on your face, but you don't want it to be too sticky and you want to get that longevity. A lot of times if I go in with more dewy blushes, they get too sticky, my hair sticks to my face, they last like 2 seconds. These are really, really good. And once again, all of the shades are super wearable. I'd like to see some more fun shades in the future, Mario, but I really do like this shade Rose Crush. We're moving along, friends. We are now down to highlighter, and I decided to narrow it down to just one. My favorite highlighter that I tried this year so far, it is the Coral Cruise highlighter from the Dior Summer collection. And I know I'm kind of cheating here a little bit because this is an existing formula. It was just released in a new seasonal shade, but I feel like it counts. I feel like it counts. I have pretty much all of the Dior luminizers at this point, and I think this one might be the prettiest one yet. Let me explain myself. All right, I have it swatched on my hand right here. It is the perfect, interesting, but wearable highlighter. It doesn't give so much pigment where maybe you have to be a little bit scared of it, a little bit, you know, even-handed. You can buff this into the cheek. In fact, I have it on my cheek right now, and it doesn't look super noticeable. It just looks like this amazing duochrome highlighter. It's not quite coral, it's not quite gold. It is both of them combined, and I don't see that in any of the other Dior luminizers. It is such a delight to use. I love putting this on top of coral blushes or even a nude blush just to kind of spice things up a bit. I think that it's beautiful. I also liked the other color, Golden Cruise. That one was beautiful, but it is a little bit more basic. I also like the Tom Ford Soleil de Faux highlighter, but it is a lot more expensive. That one is very, very pricey. And this one, I don't know, I just think it's a little bit more special and it's a little bit more worth it. So I will link this down below. It's a little bit hard to find, but I do still believe that I have a link that works where you guys can pick this one up. We've made it to eyeshadow. I know a lot of you all are interested in this category a lot. I mean, who isn't? Who doesn't love eyeshadow? And before I get to the eyeshadow palettes, we gotta talk about eyeshadow sticks because every brand wants to release eyeshadow sticks this year. And hands down, the ones that I enjoyed the most are the ones from Victoria Beckham. These are the ones that look the smoothest on my eyelids while also lasting all day, crease proof, budge proof, basically waterproof. I bet you could wear these to the beach and you'd be totally fine. They are fantastic. They glide across the eye. They're not gonna tug at the skin. I have all of the colors which were kindly gifted to me by Victoria Beckham. Not sponsored at all, completely honest opinion here. These are great. These are awesome for like a one and done look, something easy for work, for the summertime. They're absolutely beautiful. The two shades that I swatched for you right here on my hand are number 1 Oyster and number 2 Trench. And these might seem like the most basic ones. I love the pink one too, Macaron. Oh, that one is so cute. But I wanted to talk about these because first off, Oyster, this is like the perfect topper shade for any look. You just put a little bit in the center of the eye, a little bit in the corner. It brightens up the entire look. You can pretty much pair this with any other palette in your drawer, with any of the other eyeshadow sticks. It's incredibly versatile. I've used this a couple of times in other videos, kind of showing you guys how you can put it to good use. And then Trench, which I thought was going to be my least favorite shade because, I mean, it's not a very interesting shade. This is the perfect eyeshadow base. If you don't want anything to budge, maybe you want a very, very neutral look and all you want to do is create a nice little base on your eye, maybe cover up. I mean, I have like little veins right there and I like to cover them up. This is going to be your go-to. Now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about the palettes. The first palette that I want to talk about, I know I was very critical of this palette, and not because it was bad, just because it was very neutral. It was getting a lot of hype, so I really wanted to share with you all the pros and cons. I still don't like the packaging, but I still think it's one of the best releases of the year. It is the Byredo Remembrance Palette. And sorry if I'm blinding you right now. This is the packaging. I did just wipe it off because it was covered in my fingerprints. It's not groundbreaking, but it's wearable and it's really beautiful. And the more that I have used this palette, the more I have realized how beautiful it actually is. I always love my eye look when I get done with this palette. And I think what is the most special about it, and I honestly wish that she had included more of these shades in the palette, I think the best thing are the silver and gold topper shades, because as soon as you put those on any of the shades in this palette, it magically turns the look into something so gorgeous and ethereal. And I say the word ethereal because remember everyone was like all crazy about the Makeup by Mario one that I famously didn't like last year, the ethereal palette. I think that this is so much better. The other thing that I like about this is that there's just so many reviews that I do of palettes that are good, that I do like. But to be honest, like they're very expensive and a lot of people are always asking me, what should I get? What's better? This is probably one of the best values. I think this is about $90 if I'm not mistaken. I feel like you can dupe so many Dior palettes, so many Tom Ford palettes by just getting this. This is the price basically of one Tom Ford palette. Like those are very expensive. We're gonna get to the Tom Ford palettes because like I still like them, but I wanna give this palette a little bit more of a spotlight. It is more of kind of like a niche brand. The formula's top notch. The shades are very wearable. Maybe not the most groundbreaking, but I still think it's a really good palette. And so many of you have told me that you absolutely love it. And it's probably like one of the best neutral palettes that I have. You know, we gotta talk about these little babies. These are the new YSL Mini Couture Clutch palettes. You guys know I am obsessed with these. I now have 5 of them. I have 5 of them. I know I need to review 2 more of them, at least at the time of me filming this video. Trust me, that is coming. And I get so many questions every single day. Every single day I get questions. When are these going to be released in the US? Do you know when these are going to be available in my country? Unfortunately, I don't know, but it does seem like YSL Beauty is slowly rolling these out. The 2 shades I have right here are number 1, Babylon Roses. This is so gorgeous if you love kind of like those mauves and those pinks. I love how soft and slightly creamy the shadows are. I was reading through my comments this morning and some of you were telling me that these kind of remind you of the Suqqu formula. And I think that's a pretty good comparison. Like they're very soft. I think that maybe these are slightly more pigmented, but like that texture, that really soft texture that just glides across the eyes, great for any type of skin. They're just great. They're perfect. The shimmer shades have a lot of shimmer to them. Some of them are a little bit more prone to fallout than others. But that being said, it's not anything different from like another luxury eyeshadow palette. They're not super glittery and chunky or anything like that. I have right here Fontina Lilies. The palette is called Spontini Lilies. I keep calling it Fontina Lilies. Fontina is a type of cheese. That does sound delicious though. This is great if you just want something super basic and neutral. It's kind of like your Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, but maybe a little bit more peachy. I just love everything about these. The formula, the wearable color stories, and also, let's not lie, the adorable little clutch packaging. I told you we were going to talk about Tom Ford. We have to talk about Tom Ford. Of course, I have some Tom Ford palettes in this favorites video, and I probably get some of the most questions about Tom Ford palettes. Which ones should I get? Which ones do you like? And I'm just gonna lump all together my top 3 out of all the palettes that have been released so far. I've purchased a lot of Tom Ford palettes this year. And the first one I'm going to show you is number 1, Forbidden Pink. This is my favorite out of the creme formula. I don't know if you're gonna be able to get this anymore, to be perfectly honest with you, but I do really like this color story. And I have noticed, I think he's gonna be coming out with some other very neutral palettes this upcoming fall season, so keep an eye out for that. So Forbidden Pink is definitely there. One that is not limited edition that you can still get, however, is this one. This is Peach Dawn. This was my favorite from those 3 that he released. I guess I thought it was for the summertime, but they're just new wet dry formula palettes. And I really like this one because it's very brightening. It's very refreshing. It's a pop of color, but it's a little bit more on the neutral side. I find this palette to be extremely wearable. If you like something that has a little bit more of like that warm undertone, I think that Peach Dawn is chef's kiss. And then probably the most wearable one of all, which many of you guys know I absolutely love, it is Tropical Dusk. Call me basic, but this is a good palette. It's also limited edition. This is a part of the Soleil de Faux collection, so get it while you can. Links will be down below on where you can purchase it. It's not groundbreaking, but it is really beautiful. A lot of people say that this was a pink palette. I don't think it is. This is a little bit more of like a nudie pink. It's a gray transition shade. This is not in the creme formula, by the way. I get a lot of questions about that. It's in what I think they call their classic formula, but I love it nonetheless. So I gave you guys my favorite in the creme, the wet dry, and then my favorite in the classic formula. And then, like, of course, this has the awesome limited edition packaging as well. Next up, I have the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. I always get a lot of questions when I wear this palette on my eyes, and you might be a little bit surprised by which one it is because it's a little bit more of a niche brand. This kind of came out of nowhere for me, but it's so good. It's the Esam Artistry palette. Now, this is a little bit more of kind of a makeup artisty type of product. It is a makeup artist brand. That's what Esam is. It is all shimmers, but I can pretty much create any look by just using whatever powder bronzer I'm using for the day and then any of the shades in this palette. My favorite ones, to no surprise, are all of these like really light and frosty ones, which is what I have on my eyes today. Anytime I'm doing a bold cheek look, like all the blushes that have come out this year, if I'm doing more of a bold lip look like I'm doing today, I love to use those shades. But the rest of the shades are also super wearable. You can create so many looks because you kind of got like every color under the rainbow, the warm tones, the cool tones. And if you're curious about the formula, it's so good. This is professional grade formula. These palettes are expensive, but it's because they are extremely high quality. I would say probably the best comparison is Viseart. It's kind of like Viseart, maybe a little bit more of like a satin and creamy feel. Viseart does tend to be a little bit more on like the powdery side, but they have the same amount of pigmentation. It's just beautiful. It's a wonderful, wonderful palette. Before we move on to the next category, I do have a couple of honorable mentions in the eyeshadow category. I wasn't sure whether or not to mention these because you can't get these anymore. I'm trying to limit the amount of like limited editions that I include in these videos, but I wanted to let you guys know. I'll put some images up here. First up, it's the Dior Bronze Sepia, however you like to pronounce it, the Bronze Sepia palette. I love this, but unfortunately Dior reformulated all their quints and I don't see it on the website anymore, but she deserves her flowers, okay? The other one that sold out very quickly is the Suqqu pre-summer palette, specifically the green one. This was so good as well. Who knew a bright green palette would be so popular? I love this one. It was like very springy, very summery. I really enjoy using this one, but it did sell out pretty quickly. And then the last one, which I have with me right here, like we gotta talk about this, the Summer Jean collection. Sometimes I pull this out and I just look at the beautiful packaging, the denim embroidered with the beautiful flowers and the beads, and then also the really cool color story. I already told you guys I love this collection from Guerlain, and I'm glad that they did something a little bit different. Unfortunately, it was so popular that it sold out, so you can't get it anymore. But like I said, she deserves a shout out. Eyeliners and mascaras. Starting with eyeliners, I picked the new Dior Show On Stage crayons. These are very solid. You have the pencil on one side and then you have the little smudgy on the other side. I like the fact that they're creamy and blendable so that they don't like drag and skip on your eye, but once they set down, they set down. I've done so many tests with these. I have both the brown and the white shades. They are just extremely solid. I also obviously love all the new shades of the Victoria Beckham Beauty Satin Eye Casuals, but they're not really new, they're just new shades, but maybe we can count those as well. I particularly love the ones that she came out for summer, the Cherry Blossom, the Sour Apple, and Electric Blueberry, but I figured because this is a new formula, this would be my pick for the eyeliner category. And then when it comes to mascaras, I didn't actually try that many new ones this year. I've mostly just been using the ones that I enjoyed last year. I discovered the Tower 28 and the Cali Ray, and I still love those. But the one that I wanted to feature here, which I'm not quite sure if this is new, but it's new to me and it deserves a shout out, it is the Esam mascara. I have to cheat a little bit, even if this isn't like brand new this year, because I think this might be my favorite mascara ever. It's a little bit more volumizing than the Cali Ray, the Hourglass, the Tower 28. I still like all of those and I still will continue to buy them. But I think that this, like, it's volumizing, it's lengthening, like look at the length. It's so good. I had no idea like what to expect from this because Esam, it's a smaller brand. I wasn't sure, like, is it gonna be good? So good. I love the way that the brush is shaped. It's not too thick, and then it's got these really cool, you probably can't tell on camera, but it has these little like tiny spirally bristles that really grab the lash and just rake the product through, and it lasts all day. I absolutely love it. So I'm cheating a little bit and I'm including this because this really has been my mascara favorite for this year. The next category is lips. I did buy some new lip products this year, but a lot of them were just kind of new colors that I hadn't tried in formulas that I already love, but I did pick out 3 here that are more like new releases that I want to share with you. First up, we have, this is kind of like a lip case lipstick combo. It is the Guerlain Cherry Blossom lip case, and then the beautiful pink lipstick that they launched alongside it. Oh my goodness, so many people were upset that they couldn't get either the shade or the case, so I won't talk about it too much, but I really feel like Guerlain brought it this spring with both this and the Summer Jean collection. I mean, look how beautiful those little cherry blossoms are, and this is such a pretty and wearable shade. I absolutely love it. And then, I don't know, some of you might be surprised by this, but I really liked the Isamaya Wildstar collection lipsticks. I know that these are a little bit crazy, but if we're talking about new formulas, I feel like these were some of the most interesting lip products that I've tried in like the past year. First up, you got this crazy cool little horsey packaging. I know it's not for everybody, but I like it. It's tacky, it's wild. It's just a lipstick, okay? I'm not wearing it around my neck. It's just a lipstick. It's fun to pull out of my purse and see the cute little horse, okay? Maybe it's a little bit creepy, but I really like it. And then these lipsticks, they're really cool. They're more wearable than you would think that they would be. Yes, they are shimmery, but because of the tones that she selected, they just come across as more wearable than you would think. Let me swatch this one. This is my favorite one. It's probably the most wearable one. It is called Bluff. There it is right there. See how it's got kind of like a similar tone actually to the Rosy Bloom shade from Guerlain, but it has that gold shift to it. And this is the shade that I've mentioned in a couple of videos where if you were looking for something fun and sparkly and interesting from that Tom Ford Soleil de Faux lip balm set, this is what you actually should get. Is it a little bit more pink instead of like nude? Yes, but this is kind of what it looked like those lipsticks were supposed to be. These come in 3 shades, by the way, and I'm fairly certain you can still get them even though they were limited edition. I have all 3 of the shades. If you go over to my Instagram, you can see a try on and swatches of all 3 if you scroll back a little bit. I just think they are super cool. And then my last lip fave, what I'm wearing on my lips today, is actually a product that I have not talked about at all on my channel. I picked this up at Sephora 2 weeks ago. I've been enjoying it. I just haven't talked about it on my channel. It's the new liquid lipsticks from Charlotte Tilbury. I told you in one of my Pass or Yes episodes that I was probably gonna pick up one of the shades, and I have the shade Flame Blur, which is this beautiful orange red. The official name of this, which I always forget because it's long, I'm reading from Sephora, is the Airbrush Flawless Matte Lip Blur Liquid Lipstick. And it's called Lip Blur because it's that kind of like lightweight, moussey type of feel. So I feel like these are a bit more everyday as opposed to the new Tom Ford liquid lipsticks that I reviewed for you all. I really like those as well. I considered putting them in this video, but for the sake of narrowing things down and kind of giving you my top recommendations, I decided to go instead with the Charlotte Tilbury ones because I feel like These are going to be a little bit more comfortable for every day. The Tom Ford ones, I think I'm going to wear those more for like a special event, going out for the night. I really don't want my makeup to budge. I got them in bright reds because that's kind of what I'm going to use the formula for. This is a little bit more like, oh, you can just kind of smear it on or blur it on as the name suggests. Feels more like a lipstick that comes in liquid form, if that makes sense. I don't think that this formula is anything like crazy new. I think there's a lot of Asian beauty brands that have done this type of formula before. I think even Byredo has some that are like these. I'm trying to remember. I think the formula is pretty similar. Suqqu has some liquid lipsticks that are very similar to this. They're not necessarily new, but I do think that they're good. And I think especially if you're looking for something accessible that you can find in a Sephora or retailer near you, these are really great. And I think that the shades are also very wearable and very beautiful. I'm kind of obsessed with Flame Blur. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of this lip color. Believe it or not, friends, we're almost finished, but we're not finished because I have 2 skincare favorites and a couple of little brush favorites that I'm going to share with you real quick before we wrap things up. In the skincare category, one of my favorite releases of this year has definitely been the Lisa Eldridge cleanser. I've talked about this a lot in favorites videos. This is probably one of the only like expensive cleansers I will ever buy, at least to date. I don't usually splurge too much on my cleansers. I'll go for more like drugstore, or I recently have enjoyed the Paula's Choice. Nothing like too crazy. I'm not spending on like La Mer cleansers, let's just say that. But I needed to give this a try, okay? Because she sold it to me. Lisa Eldridge sold me the dream in her YouTube video, as she always does. So I caved anyway. Why do I like this? I like this because it leaves my skin feeling so soft in a way that other cleansers do not. It almost feels like it kind of leaves skincare behind, and not in like a weird, gross, filmy type of way. I've never tried a cleanser like this before. I like to use it as a little mask in the shower. I just kind of massage it into my skin, and then I'll put my hair in a little shower cap, and I'll do my little body shower while this seeps in. I don't use it for removing my makeup because for whatever reason, it's just not strong enough for that, but I like to use this for my double cleanse, and it's wonderful. I also use this for facial massage when I had a lot of jaw pain from my TMJ. If I'm gonna spend money on a cleanser, it's going to be this one. And then my other skincare favorite, which I just recently discovered, is the new RMS sunscreen. This is called the Supernatural Radiance Serum. It comes in 3 shades, and I have the shade Light Aura, which is the lightest one. I recently demoed this for you guys in 2 videos. If you want to check out my June favorites, I tell you guys all about this. This is kind of like a makeup and sunscreen hybrid. Yes, it's SPF 30. Yes, it's a mineral sunscreen, but what's really cool about this is that it's super pearlescent. A lot of you guys have told me that you've given this a try after you saw it on my channel, and you like this even more than the Supergoop Glow Screen. I like this because it's very moisturizing. It feels like skincare. It works really great under makeup. It doesn't get greasy, and it just does such a good job of kind of blurring imperfections. Great if you're doing a no makeup day, but you want to look a little bit better, maybe blur your under eye circles or some rosacea. You can really kind of like layer this up almost like makeup, but you're also getting sun protection. Really like this. I've been using this almost every single day since I got it. And lastly, we have brush favorites. I'm gonna keep it pretty quick. They're all from Sonia G. The first ones are the mini Kayaki brushes. I have the buffer brush here, and then I have the Niji brush right here. I'm not even like a big travel brush kind of person. It's not that I don't like travel brushes. I just don't really understand the concept. I could just have a longer makeup bag to accommodate the brushes that I already have. But that being said, I still appreciate them. If it's a good brush, it's a good brush, and these are so cute. I absolutely love them. Nobody does a blending brush or a buffer brush like Sonia G. This one is very similar to the Buffer Pro and the Smooth Buffer, which are already a part of her line, except I love the beautiful wood handle, whether it be short, whether it be long. I love a good wood handle. This is so handy. And then I really like the Niji brush as well. I was kind of surprised by this. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it more or less than the Niji Pro. And you know what? I think I like this one more because This one, it's a little bit like airier and softer and less dense. I find myself reaching for this one more because I'm fair and I want a little bit more of like a softer application. So both of these, oh my gosh, absolutely love them. It's kind of a shame because these seem to be sold out most of the time. I hope she brings them back. All of these brushes, they are fude, so they are hand produced by artisans. So very often once they sell out, we do have to wait for these people to hand produce them once again. It's kind of a matter of like, okay, do you want to reproduce more of these brushes or do you want to produce a new brush that you have coming out? It's all kind of like a balance. There's trade-offs there. So cross your fingers, friends. I hope that they come back in stock soon. But a really great Sonia G brush that you can get right now is her newest release, which is the Sheer Buffer. Like I said, no one does a buffer brush like Sonia G. And this one's really cool because it's a part of the Fusion series. So you can use it mostly for cream products, but I like to use this for powder products as well. This one has a dual fiber design rather. So you have some denser fibers down here, and then you have some really soft wispy ones at the top. So this is really good if you don't want to over apply product, if you want a really natural application, which I know a lot of my subscribers are looking for. If you're afraid of cream products or very pigmented products, like some of the ones I discussed in this video, and you just want to be very even-handed and have the experience be effortless, this is a good brush for just that. And we're done. That's it. Those are all the products that I have to share with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but I do keep a spreadsheet of every single makeup product that I try throughout the year, and I rate every single one. So that's how I'm able to do these roundup videos for you all. And now it is your turn, friends. Sound off in the comments down below. Let me know what have been your slam dunk products of the year so far. I would love to know. Or maybe what have been some of the biggest fails of this year. I would love to know all of your thoughts. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.